this on straight.
Yes. Okay, it should be starting. Click that. Hey everybody, it's taken a little bit, I think, because we are trying to get this going on here at the same time.
Right.
And this is our first time doing it.
Yeah, it's like starting your airplane by spinning the prop. It kicks in.
There we go.
Sometimes you got to pick the button
Maybe.
again and again. There we go.
Okay.
Finally.
So now we see. Let me tell.
We're staging now. Allowing everyone to kind of know that we're going to be starting here soon.
Okay, so if you're on, and I don't know if you are, we're about to really get started, but we just want to give everybody a second to come in. I see, okay, yeah, there we go. I'm trying to watch and do this. This is our very first webinar. What? And so it's a little bit of practice. We know we got to scoot this back a little bit. We have some people coming in. I see Jillian. Woo! Okay. So now I'm actually going to start it the way I had planned on starting it because I had to practice this part. So now we're gonna start.
Ignore
right now.
Part. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
And
technical difficulties.
Y'all,
it's
been a day.
We have a monitor.
It's been a day, but it's a good day.
Well, everyone's got a little longer to check in now.
No, it's not working. It's totally not working at all.
All right.
So it's just not going to happen.
Pull the plug off of that and let it play out of the... All right.
What you want, what you really, really want. Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna.
Well,
Okay.
Now
we've started. So y'all got all of the very first technical difficulties, and
we did it on purpose.
The whole thing is, why is this not? There's a few, believe it or not, we've practiced a few times. And I see Jay saying hello. I do not see everybody else's anymore.
Yeah,
but that's okay because, oh wait, I think there we go.
Yeah, we just got to click the right button. It was a lot out of the way.
Yeah, okay, well, hopefully we'll see. But it doesn't matter. We do have other people that are going to comment for us, so we can concentrate on this whole first couple of minutes that we took trying to get in here. Is because it's all new and it's new software and I'm learning a lot and my brain's a little bit tired. So
wished I could take pictures of how we've got it. The studio is quite interesting.
Oh, we will post pictures of our little studio because it's quite hilarious.
It'll be fixed up a little bit.
Go find our Facebook page, which is what really matters, on Facebook, and it's really, really funny to see how we have this up. That's what I was going to do. So you're going to see somebody by Jay Johnson that will comment occasionally. If you have questions, use the comments to say hello, to ask questions and that kind of thing throughout the webinar. And hopefully, I will see them, but if I don't see them,
I got them up.
Yes, but if I don't see them, well, I'm not going to be paying attention to the comments. Is my point. I want to do the thing.
Something might catch our attention down here.
So, okay, we want to go ahead and get started because we don't want to waste anybody's time. And it's so funny because used to on Facebook Live, they would tell us to, wait till everybody got on, and it's like, yeah, but what about all the people who are already there?
They don't want to watch that.
Right.
You showed up on time. Let's do this thing.
Right. That's kind of my point. Okay. So to give you some starters, this will be on the website for the next week. So if you want to rewatch it or share it with friends and tell them to come check it out because you think they would like to participate, this one will stay up for the next week, and then we're going to take it down because we're going to be doing the workshop for the next 2 weeks. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. You'll be able to get back in and watch this later. This one's going to give you a little bit of information, but for the biggest thing, it's going to be in the workshops. That's where we're going to do most of our teaching. So why don't we get started with our introduction, and we want to tell you who we are and why we're doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. So welcome to the free webinar. Yeah, a little bit of an intro to the intro, but that's all right. Anyway, I'm Todd, and this is my beautiful wife, Michelle. And we've been doing this for some time, and we've enjoyed it. Let me tell you a little bit about us, so you get to know where we're coming from.
We started this a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years
so what
ago.
really matters.
Yeah, and
we started a lot longer ago.
Yeah, well, we had to figure out how and what, and develop the niche, and find out what people were really looking for. And
well, it took us 30 years to figure out.
Well, we're working on it every day, and you'll find out as we go through this webinar that we'll be working on it while we're doing the webinar. So,
right.
We'll pull some of the things we've learned over the years out and apply it on the fly, as we all do, as you learn these things. Well, we've been married for 30 years, known each other for what, 31-ish?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't know each other very long when we got married. We met and got married right away, like right away.
It wasn't that close. It was 6 months. I could have married him the next day. So
for
keep
most
going.
people, that's right away. We have 4 children. Are wonderful. Enjoy every single one of them.
3 of them are married, so we've got 3 beautiful extra bonus babies. I mean, they're adults, but you know.
Yeah.
I love them anyway.
Oh, I do.
Just amazing adult children. And then we have 3 amazing grandkids.
Yeah, wonderful.
They are wonderful. And then I have 3 bonus grands that
yes, we do.
I get to count as my grands.
What's a bonus grand? That's friends of friends.
That's
that's
a baby that I took care of, and he thought I was his own mom. And I'm not going to tell him any different. And he's 7 now, and he's got a baby brother and sister, and I can't just have one and not the rest. They're awesome. You
don't fall out of love with those kids. I mean, come on, they're awesome.
Right. So we've got a great family. We love our kids and our grands and all that good stuff. So we're going to talk now a little bit more about, now that's kind of who we are. I mean, you want to talk a little bit about
as a couple in terms
of family. Yeah.
We've been through a number of things together and learned a lot. Started off rough. Been through the fire. We're familiar with most of the things anyone has to offer.
Yeah.
I mean, that we talk about the fact that we really we're real, and we bring it to you as we are.
Yeah.
We recognize that most people can identify with how honest we keep it. And
honest that when we do our lives, that if we're arguing with each other, we're still arguing while we're live.
Yeah.
So we keep it pretty real. Or if he
making
says
new
something,
tools for that.
If he says something during this webinar tonight, you'll see it all right here, because I don't know how to hide the fact that I'm like, what? Anyway,
we talked about this.
We are very practical. We're very keeping it real. Of course, we base this on scripture that we've learned. And, we've had a lot of ups and downs. Everybody does, if you're going to be real about it.
Can you imagine a life where it was just steady all the time? No, you're going to have some stuff. Good things, bad things. You appreciate the things that come into your life because of the trials that you've had. You recognize the value of those things. But we can help you
diffuse some of those.
But we're not about the values. We're about the overcoming.
Well, yeah, and so I've had a career in legal secretary, being a stay-at-home mom, a little bit of education into college. He's got a master's in architecture and has his partner in a firm.
Minor in psychology.
Got a minor in psychology. I now work for him. I'm his executive secretary for him and his partner, Tom.
I love having her around. I had to take her with me.
I have started staying home 2 days a week. I have a little makeup biz that we do on the side. So our big thing is that we're wanting to give you that foundation of who we are, because I know that I would want to be able to trust who I'm watching, and if I've not seen them before. So you need a little foundation, and that's who we are. You know, we've been in Cypress, Texas. We've been here since I was 11 when my family moved here, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Not that I'm ashamed of it, but it's been a lot of years that we've been here. So
I didn't say
we're very, very grounded and stable in the where we are. Our church, we've been there for almost 16 years. So I mean, there's a foundation, and I say that for a purpose.
Yes.
Because we're going to talk about a foundation, what you need in your marriage, right?
Yes. That's what we're all looking for. I mean, we're all here trying to figure out how to, find more in the relationship.
Yeah.
Or make it better.
What is our foundation?
Well, we got start with God.
Yes.
And that's
a strong spiritual relationship with God together.
It works,
you know,
because it's tied and true. It's God's word. We believe in it.
Yeah, three strands.
And we know it works.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's the scripture is that 3 cords cannot be broken, and you have God and Him and me, and that's what you would have. And so, you know, that you've got to have the strong spiritual relationship, not individually with God, but as a unit with God. A lot of worship and prayer time together. You need a strong friendship.
Well, going back to the God thing, the fact I wanted to point out was that it's scriptural, but it has principles that we draw from it.
Right.
And those principles are embedded in everything that we're going to talk about.
Right.
And
okay.
So, and then strong friendship.
And then friendship, and that's one of the things that's really kind of funny because we have some friends that.
Are they strong?
We have a few friends, believe it or not.
Just a few.
That we've talked to about the fact that, you know, you need to have a strong friendship here. This should be your strongest friendship. And they don't realize. So when I said something to her, I was like, but do you talk to this person as much as you would calling your friend every morning and talking for an hour? Do you talk to this person with the same way you would talk to your friend? Because technically, generally speaking, our filters are totally off when it comes to this side. They're sometimes off with friends and sometimes not off with friends, and we're very delicate with how we deal with friends, depending on the level of friendships and stuff. But if you can't talk to this one the way you would your best friend, if you have a best friend,
or the spouse?
Whichever one.
Right.
If you can't talk to them in that way, then you need to rethink about the friendship, because let me tell you, when you're going through hard stuff, and hard stuff happens, look at 2020.
Yep.
Okay? So hard stuff's going to happen in your relationship, right?
That's true.
So when the hard stuff comes, and you may not get up that day and say, I want to be, I don't even want to be married. I don't want this today. You can say, but I do want the friendship part. And then you get through it with that strong friendship. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about that. You need to have that really strong friendship. And one of the things, so on here, on this page that you just signed into, there's a thing that says worksheets, and you click on it. There's 2 PDF worksheets, and they're just fun. Don't fight when you do these. Couples fight about it.
I warn you, take them as fun.
This is fun.
No.
You print them off, and you're going to sit down, and you're going to take some time, and you're going to either, here's what I would do. Do it however you want. We would print it off, and both of us answer without talking to each other. And then we would bring it to each other and check to see if we answered them right.
It's so much more fun that way.
But you're answering about your spouse for the most part. Now, sometimes when I'm having to answer a question about myself, I'll have to go, hey, babe, what do you think? Because you think that. And we may come up with a couple of more worksheets that we'll put in this week as part of this free webinar to help you with the friendship, because the friendship is so important, and that's something, and you need to have some fun. And if you don't know what to talk about, because that's where we're going with this, is communication, that you run out of stuff. Like, let me tell you, I'm done with politics, okay? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with politics.
Why did you even bring it up?
Because you might need something else to talk about, because that's all that's on the news. And so you want something else to do.
It's important, but it shouldn't drive your whole life.
Well, but there are some questions that you can ask each other to get to know each other better. You know what I mean? Like the questions that I put on a deal where I'm asking you about stuff in your, what was the one, this is one of the things where I learned something about him even after being together 30 years, and that's the part we're trying to get y'all to do.
And we talk all the time.
And we do. And we're together 24/7. So there's,
I don't expect anyone to talk like we talk.
No. But I did ask him one time, what was the one thing that someone told you that just changed the path of your life?
Mm-hmm. And what did I say?
And you told me it's when you went to school to be an engineer, and this guy told you you're not an engineer, you're an architect.
Right.
And you became an architect, and that's what he's done. And it's because that's where God had him go. So those are things you're going to learn about each other.
You don't oftentimes run across that kind of honesty.
Right.
And I appreciated it. It was, and I knew. I just needed confirmation as to what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and so we're going to give y'all some more of those. Those are some freebies for y'all to be able to use in your relationship with each other that we want to help get you going with. We're not going to have time to go through those worksheets tonight because we're wanting to talk about the workshops and what we're going to offer in the workshops for you.
We're going to focus on that. There's so many things so many podcasts
Our
and things that we've done.
We kind of get
pulling into these other things. Like, no, stay focused on what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, because I have so much I want to share.
Yes.
So our promise to you, this is what we're going to promise. First of all, I am going to tell you that it's not going to work for you. It's just not. It's just not going to work for you if you don't do it.
There you go. Thought you was going to stop there for a minute.
Yeah, no.
Wow, that's honesty.
Well, I'm going to say this, and you're looking at us, and we're let's just say dieting and exercising is a little more difficult for us than what we do. We kind of have to do it more than we are in order to take it off, right?
This year's given me a lot of good excuses.
And there's been a lot of, yes. But I'm using that analogy because if you don't apply these techniques, then it's still not going to help you, the techniques that we'll be going into. You want to learn your spouse better. You want to understand them better. You want to, this is my biggest key. This is how I changed who I am. I've learned to express myself without going all over the place and just dumping. And that's been a huge one. And we've learned.
I've appreciated that.
We've learned the 4 T's of communication, and we've learned how not to get angry. Just because we've learned how to communicate where the anger and the fights are way reduced. We've learned how to not get bored with each other, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean,
when
you start to explore.
Sometimes I think I sound like the Charlie Brown parents to you, though, right? Because you're off over going.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's true. We all hear the wah-wahs every now and then, but
yes.
The idea is not to always hear it that way. We all kind of go through that, but we're learning that doesn't happen as much anymore because we're actually more intrigued by this wonderful person that we're in a relationship with. And you realize there's so much more going on in this wonderful being that you love with all your might, and yet you realize you probably don't know them as much as you should. Mm-hmm. And as you start to realize that you haven't even started.
Well, I forgot on the first slide, I was going to say something, but since we had a rough start, I forgot it. So I don't even remember what it says now, except that love is something you do for someone else, not what you do for yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of us wish, and this is me talking, wish that more people, not just him, appreciated what I do, what I mean, and I even actually said that to him today. You don't even begin to understand everything, that I do, and yet, I'm supposed to be doing this out of love.
I tell you,
she really did say that today. I did, without expectations, though. I should be doing it without expecting
even
something.
A smile on her face.
No, it's probably a little bit of a rough time, but
it was half tongue in cheek.
But I think that we need to realize that our spouses, we're supposed to do for them because we love them, and they're supposed to do for us too because they love us. That it works both ways.
Oh, is that how it works?
I don't don't know how it is for y'all. Sometimes we have to remind each other, you love me.
Oh, everybody's got dials to adjust. That some people have that down. There's other areas that.
So this one is one of his favorite things that he likes to say is, love is a
choice.
It's not an. It's not an. N. N. It's not an.
It's not in what?
It's not an emotion.
It's not an emotion. I blacked out on you there for a minute.
I thought you were playing games.
No.
Okay, love is a choice. It's not an emotion.
It obviously is emotion with it, but it's not what everyone thinks it is. You get up every morning, you make a choice.
You do.
To love your wife or husband or your spouse.
Or you can get up and choose to be angry with your wife.
You can choose it. And you get up every day.
It's a choice.
And it's easier to make that choice when you have some of these tools down underneath there and you've worked through a number of things. Oh my goodness, it's such a smoother board after you've kind of sanded it down for a while.
A little bit. Okay, so when we do our workshops, what you're going to learn, we have 4 topics that are super, super important. And you've probably already heard of them. You may have already read some books about them. You may already know some of this stuff, but we're going to take you much deeper into it because these are some things that really kind of rocked our world and changed who we are, I would say,
a lot of people
in our relationship.
Have heard of these or a variety of these, but we've had so many experiences with even cell groups and one-on-one with people.
Of really
a
being
variety
able
of different
to,
groups, and we've really got a lot to feed back that's really insightful. In
well,
each
and
one of these
we're going to
areas.
have these. Each of these will have a worksheet, or 2 or 3, and we will take the time, not in the mini workshop. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
I don't know.
The big workshop, the full one, that one we're actually going to work some of the worksheets out during that process. So that way we can kind of all do it together. I mean, you're not going to be live with us, but you're still going to take the time. We'll be working it out so you can see it. And it'll be very interactive and very hands-on and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do the love languages. We're going to talk about how to listen, how to communicate. I mean, the word communicate is, there are some, oh my gosh, life languages that you need to learn about yourself. The 4 T's that are the T protocols to follow. And so each of these topics, in the little one, we're going to get, maybe 30 minutes to each one of them. And then, but on the big one, each topic's going to get an hour. So you're going to get really in-depth stuff. And you may know the love languages, but you may not understand, like I'm a words of affirmation, but everybody thinks, words of affirmation, go talk nice to her and that kind of stuff and say sweet things.
Right.
But that's great. Trust me. Tell me all the good stuff. But if there's none of the good stuff or there's bad stuff, that wounds. And, so we're going to go in a little deeper and bring those things out, because
it's not just about the obvious line items. There's so many subsets to these that embolden or take away from those line items. From the different love
and
languages.
for us, he has a really difficult time speaking my love language.
Yes.
And I do his.
It sounds terrible.
And I do his so much you would think it's my love language, but it's not.
And that's the other thing you'll learn.
And those are the things we're going to talk about in there. And so, and if y'all have any questions about any of these, let us know. Then we're going to do a question and answer session at the end so y'all can ask lots of questions. And here we are back. One of the things we want you to know is, thank you, Jillian. She says it sounds like it's really great stuff, and we believe it is. We believe that it has changed who we are. And I want to tell y'all, this is really probably, and I know I do most of the talking, I'm sorry, but
is that different in your relationship?
Well, you do a lot of talking. I just have been working.
Today's your time, that's all. I come in.
It's just because I've been working on it so much. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you one of the things that I'm going to give our kids kudos for, and that is, most adult kids, we have great kids. and we have really good relationships with them and their spouses.
Oh, yes,
And
we do.
they stayed on here last night helping us try to figure out all the stuff and do the things. But they're also super, super supportive and I think it's because they've been able to see us grow and change over the years. You know what I mean?
It's an answer to their prayers.
So when your kids watch you changing over the years from while they're little to teenage years to adults, and they've watched their parents go from a really either, because we had some rough years, we had some in between, I mean, the bumpy roads that everybody has, which we'll get more into those later, or you can watch any of our videos on our video channel on here that's not on this channel. But, there was a time that I felt like I was never heard. I was at the bottom of the well. And but do you remember those?
Yeah, I can tell you, when your wife tells you she feels like you're at the bottom of the well, don't joke by telling them you're going to throw them a rope. It's not funny. Kind of. Kind of is.
No.
It's not the right time. There's a time and place. We've got some tools for that too.
But what I had to learn was how to get him to understand what that meant.
Right.
And I think women probably feel this way more because men kind of listen, they hear, but they don't really hear. Now, sometimes women are that way too, and I get that, but it's usually a man thing because they are so, guys have blinders. They do one topic. Women have all the browsers open, and we can hear and listen, and I may not answer him right then, but I may come back and go, wait, I know I heard, and I know I heard this part, but I didn't hear everything, so could you please say that? Whereas a guy would be like, oh, she's talking, I'll get it another time, it's no big deal.
Or there's too many words to digest, so you just stop listening,
yes,
or you
men are
tune
focused.
it out.
Jay was saying men are focused, and they are, and it was so funny because one of the times back in the day, this has probably been 20 years ago, Rick Ugron that's how long ago it was. He said to me that he had come over to the house to drop something off. There is a shout out to Rick. But he said something, and this is when we were going through a real struggle. Mm-hmm. And he asked if I was okay. All of our kids were there, and he asked, and I said, I was frustrated with him. And so I shared with him my frustration. And that's when he's like, Michelle, men, they're like the horses going around the tracks. They've got the blinders over their eyes, so they just look this way. They don't see anything around them out here.
Might be a little broad of a stroke.
But he was letting me know that if I wanted your attention, that I've got to do a little different.
Move yourself in front of them.
Yeah, you've got to speak where they can hear you and understand you, and that's what I had to learn.
Either that or break out the crop. I'm not sure what he meant. But.
Right. The other thing that we will talk about, if you're tired, and feeling angry or hurt or like you don't have a relationship and you're seeing everybody else's magical relationships on Facebook, which first of all, that's their highlight reels. It is not real life. Just letting you know if you're comparing
what they want
yourself.
You to see.
And we're pretty real with ours, especially because we're doing this.
Yeah,
and
as we get into talking about these things,
we
lift
will
the
share
tent up and let the
when we're teaching, you're going to hear some of the stuff because that's what teaches you when you hear that. Sometimes, we've had couples talk to us about the fact that they've been married 15, 18 years, and they're just like, well, I thought we had a great relationship. I didn't know. Just thought, go ahead, say it.
Go ahead.
Yep,
you did. All there is?
Is that all there is? We might as well have a smoke and a beer and have a ball because that's all there is.
That's a quote from the song.
That's a song. That's not what I'm telling you today, I can assure you.
It's an old song.
We've played
it a few times. We got a number of times we pull it out.
When I heard it, it really, really,
impacted you.
Yes, it spoke to my spirit, and I'm thinking that's a lot of problems with marriages, and men kind of shut down, and women struggle with, is that all there is? Is this really what my life is about? I'm married, I have kids, and I'm working and I'm doing, but I still feel empty. And it's because you haven't communicated.
Yeah, it's kind of like a midlife crisis in the relationship. where you're like, is this really all there is? And the answer to that is there's so much more. Then
There
no matter
is.
where you are, no matter if
Yes.
you're just starting up the mountain or if you're almost
Right.
to the top, there's always so much more enjoyment and joy
Right,
and
right.
just passion, uh, so much more
Yeah.
that you can feel. You can always go deeper into the relationship and
Yes.
find riches as
Right.
you go.
Right.
And so if you feel that way, that's not a negative thing. That's just a calling to go deeper.
Right.
That's all it is. And
Well-
it's something that's actually very healthy. And,
There's-
and you want to have, I want more. Because you don't
Well,
want more of
one
something
of
that's
the-
bad. You want more of something that's good.
Right, but a lot of couples have lost hope.
Right.
They've
And that's
lost
where it
hope
trips
that
up.
they can be fixed,
And-
that, in fact, another couple, and these are not people that we are, working directly with our Prepare and Rich, which we forgot all that.
We
At the
did.
beginning, when we were doing our introduction,
We
we'll
took
go
it
back.
for granted.
We are certified Prepare and Rich and Symbis marriage mentors.
Right.
And so that's why we do what we do.
That's
And we
right.
do work with individual couples, which we could offer you.
That's right.
Or, you take the workshops and you can watch them online, either live or after. They'll be up for 30 days or 60 days, depending which one you want. Okay, back to this. One of our couples was talking to us, not our couples, just friends, that were saying, they didn't really want to do the Prepare and Rich program or any of the programs because he decided, and we did a video, he was live with us on Facebook, and this is one of the things that he talked about, and that was, if I go do this, if I start working at this and it doesn't work, then I have no hope. And as long as I don't apply and don't try, then there's at least some hope that down the road that something would change. And him and his wife go to their church. Their pastors, Prepare and Rich facilitators, and they've started doing all the things and learning some of these tools. And amazingly enough, because they're putting them to work,
Right.
they have a stronger, happier, healthier relationship just in a few months. I mean, it's because you
Right.
try. And one of the things I'll talk about is, too, it's a cycle. It's a cycle, just like us eating healthy and not eating
Oh,
healthy,
not like
because
a cycle.
yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Silly. So, and this is going a little faster, which is great. I mean,
Now,
wrong.
one of the things I wanted to point out, though, when you talked about what he had mentioned about the hope,
Yeah.
it really hit us, and we immediately knew at that point that was a topic that we needed to bring up and really talk about and sink our teeth into, because it was a perspective that it's not a single unique situation. So many people feel it in so many ways.
Yeah.
They do it in a variety of different ways. He was just able to really put his hands on it and succinctly express it. It was done in such a powerful way
Right.
that you can tell that there's been a lot of thought about
Well-
that relationship he had with hope and struggling with wanting more but fearing the failure.
Well, and I think too, part of that's because a lot of us have gone through so many things in life that cause
Some scars?
some scars
Mhm.
that you feel like you've gotten all that you can out of that. And so if you don't have hope, which across the board as a Christian, we need hope. And our job is to make sure that we spread hope. And that was one of my big things the other day. And because I really feel like there's a lot of people, especially with, and this has nothing to do with this marriage seminar, but we are getting it back to the family. Just hold on a minute. With all of the things that's happened this year and the political, nightmare that's going on and the COVID nightmare and all the things that we've all had to do, it makes us feel like we have no hope. And especially if you've been one who's been cooped up in a home. We work with just a couple
Extra
people,
hard.
so we've not had to do that. And you need that hope. You need somewhere to go to learn some stuff. And if you have somebody who can hear you and someone who can teach to you the things you can do. There is a real struggle in some of these areas, and it's very, very common, but there is hope in this relationship.
But-
Yes, that's Quentin and Drayton did Prepare and Rich. In fact, the reason why we became Prepare and Rich facilitators, this is when I was talking about our kids being so
That's right.
supportive of us. We started this. We didn't even go into the story. Boy, you missed a whole bunch of stuff that we were supposed
Well,
to
it's
talk
down
about
there
at the
below
beginning.
thing, yeah.
Okay,
We're
so I'm going to backtrack again. The reason why we started What Really Matters, we went out of town. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of the history here that we didn't do at the beginning. We went out of town for a convention for makeup. I got all my free makeup, but I didn't go to the convention classes. We took a little vacation and just spent some time together, right?
Yeah,
We made it a kind of a getaway weekend for us.
it was a refreshing renewal of our relationship. We didn't
Right.
know that going in. We were just kind of going
It
to
was
have some fun.
it was a God ordained thing.
But
we just didn't know.
We found our wives. We found our lives in the middle of San
Did you
Antonio.
find some
I did
more
not find
wives?
any other
What?
wives.
Oh my gosh!
One's enough.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
So here we are in the depths of the downtown of San Antonio,
Yep.
and we found ourselves it broke the cycle. The things that you normally do in your life, we all of a
Yeah.
sudden we were in unfamiliar territory, and it was such a blessing because now all of a sudden we broke out of our normal mold.
Right.
And we were able to express new ideas and go new places. So what I wanted to point out was we ended up finding that we were talking about new ideas and new things, the kind of discussion that brought you back to like when you were a teenager, sitting on the bed. We literally were sitting on the
Yes.
bed,
It was
facing
awesome.
each other until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
It was all night. It was
hilarious.
all night.
And the time went like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you were like, how is it morning already? I mean, we had
And we've
such
been
a
married, oh my
fantastic
word,
time.
28 years. So
Yeah.
it's not like this is we're getting to know each other. You know, it was just real deep, in-depth conversation, and it was really nice.
And it was during that time that I knew something was happening. And I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I knew that we were different somehow because of the time we've spent together. And then at the end of this, we went into the seminar and did things over there. And then after that, it was all done. And on our way home, it was a most interesting ride home. You would have thought the ride home. She's doing
what they told me to do
her
at
duties.
the convention.
Yeah. She was working the business, and I'm driving, and I don't even know if the radio was even on. We were both in our own worlds.
The radio's on. I don't
It's
travel
always
without
on.
music.
And I am just processing as I'm driving.
And that's what you do. That is who you are.
And I'm processing, and I'm like, wait, this is not my normal, stuff that I chew on while I'm driving.
God was
this was
downloading
new.
stuff.
So on the way home, I was made to know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah. Pastor Clyde Drake, don't add another name.
We had a unique relationship that people could relate to if we would just share it with you. And so that's where we started talking. So we got most of the way home, and I said, you know what? And all of a sudden, she's like, well, what? I said, I've got this idea. And I think it's the kind of idea that we need to dedicate ourselves to. So we committed to it, and we came home and we started working on it, and it just became so natural because all the concepts and ideas were there. Now the hard work had to follow, sure does, but we developed the systems and then united with the mentoring certifications
Well,
that we have.
that's when Quentin's like, after a year of us doing it, Quentin's like, you know what? Y'all need to go do this, Prepare and Rich thing. So we go see him, and we sit down. We're up there visiting him and Katie, and we start doing this. And he's like, y'all need to do this Prepare and Rich. So we took the assessment because, well, you know what? We know where our problems are.
Right. We had already been working well on that.
Most couples do, and we were able to tell each other. And because we had already been doing What Really Matters, we had already grown a lot. So when we took this assessment, and it was like, bam, we were like, absolutely. So we,
To be
got
honest with you,
certified.
when we took the assessment, I was like, fine, yeah, you know what? I'll take that assessment. I want to see how good
Right?
this assessment
Jay's
is.
talking about how 10 years ago he heard us in the house talking. Him and David were working on computers, and we
Right.
were downstairs, and he wanted a relationship because we talk a lot, y'all. We talk all the time, and he could hear us talking, and we talked for hours. And
Yes, I
he was
remember
like,
this,
I
yes.
want that relationship, and God's blessed him with a really beautiful wife, and we just enjoy being around them. In fact, we got to have lunch today. It was
Yes,
so
we
much
did.
fun. And we're going to do that way
Well,
more
we
often
get
now.
so many
But
stories like that people share with
and
us.
it's because we've applied these techniques and these things, and that's what we're wanting to share with y'all.
We don't always
so,
have it planned. Like what happened with Jay. He just overheard us, and we give
Well, we were just
opportunity.
talking,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we were talking, but he didn't know or to want until he heard it and went,
Right.
oh, thank goodness you mentioned,
Yeah.
he heard this, and
Yeah.
he found he had a longing
Well-
for it, and it was like, wow, I didn't even realize it. So we have the opportunity to help people give birth to
I'm
so
going to
many
get into
unspoken
the next
issues.
part. This is the part, we're going to keep it on this slide because the next one's the last one, and
Right.
then we'll go ahead and be closing it out. I mean, we've got a few minutes, but the part I want to get to is when we got to 2020, is when we started getting all the certifications. That's when we started preparing Rich, and we got into Symbis, and then we learned all about the life languages. So there's been a lot of training going on in 2020. And, at the end
It's a
of
great time
last
to be
year,
doing it.
well, at the end of last year, if you went to church, or it didn't even matter if it was in a church circle, everybody was like, oh, 2020 is the year of vision. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And we get into it, and guess what, y'all? It did not go the way any of us planned. Because I guarantee you, 5 years ago or 15 years ago, when you were doing that little, in 15 years, I plan to be here. In 5 years, I plan to be here. 2020 with the pandemic
Right.
and all the garbage
I don't
and the
think
riots.
that was on anybody's
Nope,
list.
not on our radar. So this year's been a little rough for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell you, God's used it to grow a lot of other people. And we're one of them. And so he's taken us from just doing some Facebook Lives once in a while and sharing to being certified
Right.
in 2 different areas
Stepping
and learning
all in.
more stuff, getting all of the information I can. And I'm podcasting, and I'm listening, and I'm doing so I can grow myself, because I feel like God's taking us to that next level. And we will have a podcast, and we are going to be doing the workshops, and we are going to be doing these other things, and that's why we're doing what we're doing now. We're doing this webinar. It's our very first, and we're probably not even doing it right, and I'm okay with that because it's my first, and I'm learning from it, and I'm good with that. But then we're going to go into the workshops. The workshops is going to be where all of your information about these topics are.
The workshops are more
the
of our
one thing I
wheelhouse.
want, well, it is going to be. But I did fail today in one. I wanted to have a worksheet that you could be going through while we were talking tonight, and I was just so busy I didn't get it done, and that's okay. I'm not beating myself up. It's our first, and we're learning. But anyway, so this 2020, I'm going to tell y'all where we're headed. You're going to be the first to hear any of this. We're starting the workshops. There's a plan behind it. Well, you're not the first. I have a friend that I talked to this week that heard it, and then he heard it. And I know that, giving hope, and hope, everywhere hope. But one of the big things in my heart is giving young couples hope to adopt, and young, it doesn't matter what age, or even if you're married or not, but ladies that need to be able to put a child up for adoption, and they feel like they have no hope, so they go for abortions. So we want to save babies, okay? That's the whole point. So going from a free 15-minute live video, we're going to start having classes and teaching, and the monies from that is going to go into of course, I mean, I'm not going to lie, we're going to use some of the money for ourselves, but some of it, the rest of it is all going to be going to this home, and we're already planning it. I know this is where God's going, because that's why we have the hope that we're having.
It's a foundation of hope, and it provides choice.
And it gives well, it does give choice, and it will, but we want to be able to help the families that need to adopt not have to pay so much money for adoption.
'Cause
that's kind of part of it. We don't want a whole bunch of overhead. We want the money to go towards adoptions and helping these ladies. And there's just and hope to relationships, to marriages, and to families, and how to get your marriage either back on track or make it better than it was, or how to deal with your relationship with your children or with your parents, or there's so much, and that's what our workshops are about. And so anyway, that's kind of, and like I said, maybe this
what you just shared there is the incentive that we want to put in here for everyone and everything that we do, that make sure that everyone knows that there is a purpose, an underlying purpose for all the things that we're doing. Not only just to be sharing this information to have relationships grow and prosper everywhere that we can do it, but to also take the funds that are associated with that for good, solid community, moral, family.
We just believe that God has us going in that direction. There's a purpose behind this, and hope is our big thing. And there's a couple of areas, and in our world, in our society today, the family is not revered like it used to be, and we want to bring that back. And we believe that's one of the things that we're called to do, is to help other families.
Right.
And we didn't have all of the best family. I mean, with our kids and them growing up, we did some really, really good stuff, and we did some really not so good stuff. And we want to help prevent the not so good stuff for you. That's kind of what we're doing. So
just a little bit of knowledge goes a long way.
It does. And what happens is, so what we're going to do is do the condensed version on November 12th and 19th. So the next 2 Thursday nights. But those are going to be 1 hour each with questions and answers. So it may go an hour and a half. We talk, so sometimes it may last longer. But we're going to do.
But they're all golden nuggets.
They are. So you're going to get, on one Thursday night, you're going to get a little bit of like love languages and 4 T's. And then the next Thursday night, some of the assertive and active and life languages. And we're going to have some worksheets. And those are going to be very condensed. That's $100.
I mean, we're going to
it gets you in.
Touch base on each one of those things.
Right. We're gonna talk about all of those. We're gonna have a worksheet for each of them. You're gonna get those to download. You have access to the videos, both videos, for 30 days. Mm-hmm. You get to email us with questions. So as you're applying some of the things that you're learning, you can email us or message us or whatever. And we can talk and help you. We'll give you, it says 1 email. I mean, I'll probably give you more than 1 email. But,
the point being, it's an email communication. It's not a hands-on, which we'll talk about.
And so any questions that people have from those workshops, we will probably, at the end of it, after the 2, take everybody's questions and combine them. Nobody's going to know who's asking what. We're not using names, but write a blog and then email out that blog that answers all the questions
it'll be a master
from your
question and answer
thing.
sheet.
So that way, if there's some questions that you think about later, or you
most
read
importantly,
and you're
going
like,
to read other
and go, wow, I should have asked that one.
I identify with that.
Right. And
or
so,
I was too scared to ask that a lot of times, and somebody has enough to actually ask it and we'll answer.
Well, and that's
honestly.
The whole point. Everybody's personalities are different. You may not think of it till later, and then you're like, oh, it's too late. Right. Oh, but somebody else asked, so that's okay. So then the full workshop's in January. We're taking December off. It's Christmas. There's Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to want to do this in that time.
That's a big part of what really matters.
That is a big part of what really matters. So then we're going to go to the full workshop is in January. It's all the Thursday nights. It's going to start at 7:30. They're for an hour. They will be recorded. They will be on here for, I don't remember how long I said, 90 days. So you can come back and watch them. You're going to have, this one will have more worksheets, and it'll be an hour for each class with a question and answer session. Plus, if you want to do a Zoom or something with us one-on-one, like you and your spouse and us, these two, yes, us. My mind is all over the place. Where we could actually Zoom and sit and talk with you a little bit about what you might be going through, and, even pray with you and that kind of stuff. If you choose to buy the mini workshop and you want to start practicing some of those things that we teach you, and then you decide, I think I could really use the full workshop, we'll credit the money from the mini workshop to the full, so you don't have to pay the full amount for the full
Right.
workshop. We will discount
We'll
that.
keep it the same price. The most important thing is the mini workshop's a great way for you to get your toe in the water and start to see what we're really going to be showing. Since we're discounting it and it's going to be the same as
The full, you might as well do.
You might as well do it, and it gives you a leg up on the
Well,
full version
you know,
in
the
the sense that
part-
there's things we're going to present that you can start working on right away.
Well,
There's
that's
no
what I
reason
was
to
going
have
to
to
say.
wait.
If you can practice it for a month,
Yeah.
then you're going to come in.
Oh, the questions
and the
you're going to
questions
have.
you're going to
and
have.
the answers you can get.
Right. And also for the full version, it's going to have longer online access.
Yes.
We're going to have, we'll do some more live one-on-one sessions with you, like maybe one a week if you need it or something like that. We want to be there to help. This is not about just saying, oh, here's a thing. We're going to teach it to you and go away. We want to be able to help answer the questions and help you apply it to your life.
Yeah, I mean,
and
the big
be
difference
there.
is the hands-on.
Yeah.
This is where you actually come. We communicate in a direct manner about specific issues and things.
Right.
It's the best of the mentoring
Yes.
part of the program.
Yes.
These other, the condensed version, you get some of that, but the full version, you're going to get the
Way
benefit
more,
of all the
Well,
information that we can
and then the
bring
other
to the
thing
table.
I'm going to bring up that's not on this slide, because I thought about it while I was getting ready for this webinar. We want as many people getting into the mini workshop to get their feet wet a little bit to go to the full workshop as possible. We are offering a $50 gift card I was gonna have you do a restaurant of your choice or whatever, and I'm like, no, no, we're just gonna do like a Visa card so you can use it wherever. So for, if you get out there and promote this and you have, text it to your friends that need in and that kind of stuff. We're gonna have a little contest, and so whoever can get the most in, and if there's actually, quite a few, we may have a couple of winners. And we'll do it for both the mini workshop and the full workshop. So when people come in and they sign up, they have to actually have already paid, not just come in and do their sign up. There's two sections. You sign up and then you go do the paid thing. Well, if once they've done the paid thing, we'll ask them, how did you find out about us? And they'll give us your name. Make sure I know that we're expecting some people if you're giving our names out.
It certainly helps.
So that we can know to put people together. Yes, it's a referral contest because we know there's a couple of reasons. One, we want to build up the people. I mean, we're not hiding anything, okay? But the other thing is going into the holidays sometimes is a little bit of a downer for people. Especially if you've lost parents or if you've lost.
Of challenges that take
There's
place.
a lot of challenges, and 2020 has just been a year of challenges. And so we're hoping that because we can be there for somebody with a mini workshop and they get into that. I mean, let's face it, $100. You do that on going to dinner. I mean, not everybody does, but a lot of people do. Well,
Let me tell you.
a couple of nights out to eat, because that's 2 nights. So
These-
$50 a night going out to eat, you can do it.
These dates were not chosen at random. This is a great precursor to the holidays that are coming up to really help people get their
Well, yeah, the following
their
week
mindset and some basic tools to deal with some situations that are going to be coming
the
up.
following week is Thanksgiving so the 19th, and then you have the week of Thanksgiving
Some
after, and
Thanksgiving's
you're
gonna
going
be
to be
challenging.
dealing with family members. I know we are, and ours are so hard to deal with. They're watching, that's why I'm saying this. We are so excited! I can't wait to go. And the nice part is our kids are adults and we don't really have any, we just enjoy being with them, all of them. And it's just so cool to
I
get
don't
to go
have to
do.
clean up after them anymore.
And so we're
that's
super
good.
excited about that. But you know what? Not everybody has that. And they may want somebody that they can talk to about, hey, this is how Aunt Sally does, or this is what my parents say, or they don't like my spouse. What do I do? What? Okay, it's been an hour, but that's okay. So anyway, there's that contest. So, get the information out for the mini
She don't
workshop.
hide anything, does she?
We are real and we are practical, and that's who I am. I don't hide any of it. So we're going to do the mini workshop and the full workshop. We ask that y'all share, and there is a contest. So there's that. If you have any questions, we're going to do, we will, invitation revoked. We will sit here for just a second with letting you ask questions. If you have any, I don't know that there's going to be. If you know us, you can just, or if you know, the Facebook page, go to What Really Matters on Facebook. You really kind of have to look up What Really Matters Wyatt, because when we started it, or you look up my name or his name, and you go find us, and it'll take you over there. And come to our website. I have blogs here as well, and there's like 72 videos or something we've done over the last 2 years that you can already start watching and learning different things. And so there's a whole lot of stuff that we've already put out there that's just free for you to go get.
We'll be pulling a lot of those videos together into future seminars that we're going to continue to pull
right.
and put together in a more classic way, so that the information can be extracted in a much easier process.
Right.
The other ones are great, though. You can just run through them. They're entertaining, most of them.
Hey, Josh Whitaker.
I'm sure that they're really great. You can splash through them and find some really good topics in there. And I think every one of them has the ability to touch you in a way that can change your life. It certainly can change your mind and your attitudes. It's up to you to make the action and change the rest. But each one of those things envelops itself into the larger package that we'll be continuing to bring to you as we move forward.
Right. Now, don't forget, especially if you came on after, we had a few people come in after we got started. There are some worksheets that we uploaded to help you answer questions and get to know your spouse a little better.
Come on, have a little fun.
Don't fight. It's going to be fun. Don't fight because answers are not what you think.
I can't even imagine. Well, I do. I see it all the time. We actually see it. We've seen it many times. It's like, no, this is fun. Learn about each other. And if somebody puts something down that you're like, really, and it really sparks it, well, we have techniques to deal with that too. But right now you don't know what they are. But the point of the matter is, have some fun with this. It's an exploration thing. Don't let anything that you discover change you into a negative environment. So this can be a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Quentin's already got a referral.
Yeah.
It's funny. Okay, so we are about to be shutting down, waiting for any more questions.
And in his referral, if you do have a beard, don't shave it off without your wife knowing about it.
Right.
It's an inside thing. All right, so now we've finally gotten to the conclusion of the process here. We've probably rambled on quite a while, but I think it's important that you realize the trove of information that we have, and we're going to wrap it up here as soon as she gets
Not working.
So it's been fun, and we enjoy doing this immensely.
We do.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I want it.
And there you go.
That's it. So join us. We hope that there is some things that you got out of this webinar. We know this is not a full education. I mean, webinars are supposed to be giving a little bit of education, but also leading you to the workshops. It's our first one, so we're going to look back for feedback from you as well, and really appreciate it. And then we hope to see you, or we will see you, and we're giving hope at our workshops. So y'all have a great evening, and we will talk to y'all later.
Bye.